Going viral. Rising Tides live. My name's Shawn Walchef. This is a Cali BBQ Media production. Today we are going to talk about videos that go viral. What does it mean to go viral? How do you go viral? Stories of any of the creators that are in our community that have gone viral. If you are in the community, please join the show. We're live on LinkedIn, live on YouTube, live on Facebook. Please share the video. Please tag a friend. We are trying to grow this community. A rising tide lifts all ships. We started this on Clubhouse 4 years ago in the pandemic, and now we do a live show every Wednesday, every Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. We are storytellers, we are content creators, we are business owners, and more importantly, we care about you and your story. Please join the community. Let's go ahead and bring up our community members, and let's get into today's topic about going viral. There we go. Elizabeth Doss, kick us off. Take 60 seconds. Who are you? What do you believe in? And share your going viral story or thoughts about the topic.
Yeah, sure. So, hi all. My name is Elizabeth Doss, and I am a social media consultant, but I specialize in animated GIFs and helping businesses leverage these little animations, these little bits of humor and their personality across social platforms to harness their thought leadership, but also build community, increase engagement, all those wonderful things. So I was just like digging in to the viral side of things. And, you know, I'm going to say something that everyone on here knows already, but the hook is going to be what grabs people and gets them to stay. So there needs to be something in viral video and most of the ones that do it that gives you a taste of things to come so that you can fulfill the promise that you're making in the hook. Because the hook is a promise that you're going to get the information, the action, the why did that just happen or what just happened behind the other side of things. So I was going to tell my story really quick. So my husband and I were driving home from the church. He's a pastor, and right off the church property, there was a snapping turtle in the road. And so I took this opportunity, like Shawn always tells us, to document what's going on. And so I stayed in the car because this guy's in the South. Snapping turtles are no joke. Like I'm going to post the link to the video on LinkedIn for you and the other places that we can find it. But anyway, so I did this video, but instead of doing it sequentially, I cut the most action-packed part of it, which is when James was trying to use a coal shovel to move the turtle. And so the turtle actually comes out of the shell and like snaps at him, like does what a snapping turtle does. Anyway, but you hear me screaming in the background. So that is like the first second of this video is this terrifying moment. But I took it from the middle and then came back and then so it's at the beginning, but then I told the story of what happened. Okay, so we posted this. We were just being kind of funny about it because James had gotten, I do social media, but he never gets on. But Facebook reached out to him and said, hey, we're going to monetize your videos. And he thought it was hilarious to rub it in my face that he got monetization and I hadn't. So I edited this video down. We put it up on his account within just a couple of days. Like it took off. Currently, it's at 10.2 million views. Wow. And he capped out his monetization for a couple of months from this one video. And wow. And it's that idea of I gave the promise in the big action-packed moment at the beginning and then fulfilled it by telling the story of what happened after the fact. So anyway, that is my tip for that. And I'll drop the link. Maybe I'll try to upload the video to LinkedIn so everybody can see it because I need to tell the story, right, Shawn? Anyway. I'll hand it back to you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Elizabeth. We appreciate it. This is what we do on this show. I think one of the most important things for the audience, if you're new and listening, we believe in smartphone storytelling. So the equation that we talk about all the time is quantity plus speed plus consistency will eventually equal quality. And I don't know if going viral is the right question, to be honest with you. You know, that was kind of part of my hesitation when I saw the graphic. I love you, Mike. Mike's our producer, and Cam, I think, made the thumbnail for today's video. But I don't think going viral is really the right question, because really, when I think of going viral, I think of quantity. How many videos can we put up? I always talk to people all the time. The answer is not making one video or 5 videos. It's how do you make 5,000 videos? And how do you get better every single time you're making a video, whether that's a selfie video, whether that's me videoing my pitmaster making barbecue, like how do we get better at putting a quantity out with speed, with consistency? And then for me, viral is like just looking at the data and going, did this video do 10x what my usual views are? For me, that's viral. I don't need to have millions of views on my Instagram video or TikTok video. Like that, I actually don't even really care about viral. I care about when I get somebody on LinkedIn that goes, hey, Shawn, we have this big brand and we're going to the National Restaurant Show. I saw your video with toast, and they send me a digital receipt. Like for me, that means more than 100,000 people reaching out. Like I actually care about what's the ROI of smartphone storytelling. But I want to welcome Justin Foster, new to the community. We were on the call yesterday. I gave him a crazy challenge to come live on the show, and I know you've got a short amount of time, so please introduce yourself. Who are you? What are you building? And what are you excited about for video storytelling?
Well, Shawn, first of all, thanks for having me. I'm probably the least qualified person on the planet when it comes to talking about making viral videos. But it's funny because I've done a couple startups, and my first startup actually was a video company. It was a video tech company. We provided infrastructure for e-commerce websites to post videos, and we captured a bunch of analytics on them. And this was like right when like YouTube was becoming a big thing, and there was like the Old Spice guy, and we looked at like, the videos that our customers would host with us. These were like product videos, right? And a lot of them didn't really have a lot of views. And it's funny, we would tell our customers the same thing. It's like, it's not about getting like one video with 1 million views or 10 million views. It's about creating a lot of content that covers all of your products and using video to tell a story to drive conversion so that more people buy your product. And that became the basis of what started that business on a path to success. I did notice though, like one thing about the videos that would get more views, they had something like funny about the product itself, was like crazy, or like the person was doing something unexpected in the video. And I was thinking about that because I'm contemplating right now, like, what should I be doing on LinkedIn? Like, should I be going and, talking about like the day in the life of a tech founder in the restaurant tech industry? Or should I be doing like a podcast? And one of the things I was thinking about was doing cold calling from a boat, because I have a boat,
Yes,
and I thought that
absolutely.
might be kind of fun,
100%.
right? Just go
I
out and like
yeah.
do cold calls on the boat, right?
Yeah.
I think people might be interested in that. So anyway, I'm here for your guys' tips. I really have no idea what the hell I'm doing. What we're doing, so I'm doing a new startup in the restaurant tech space. It's called Incept AI. We actually just came out of stealth last week. And we are basically a new approach for voice AI order taking for restaurants, both over the phone and in drive-throughs. So this is a space that has some incumbents that have been around for a few years. And what we really specialize in is making audio clean so that it can be processed by speech recognition models and foundation models, which should drive up accuracy for restaurants, which has been one of the key things holding this space back. So we have an announcement coming out next week. I'm excited to see how we can grow in the space, and looking forward to having the support of the community.
That's amazing. Justin, thank you for joining. I know it's always weird when I tell people like, hey, come join this community. Like we're live streaming a live show and we're going to talk about storytelling. You're like, who the F is this guy? Like, I don't know if I trust, he's either totally crazy or maybe he's actually going to show. Am I getting punked? I think is a lot of what most people think when they first see me, but we appreciate you joining us. We hope you keep continuing to join the show, and please everybody connect with Justin on LinkedIn. Speaking of LinkedIn, let's go to Matt Wampler, the man who connected us, and is the reason why Justin is here today. Well, Justin's the reason why Justin's here today, but if it wasn't for the connection, Matt Wampler, back from Japan, a smartphone storyteller who just went viral for his wife, your wife's post, your post with your wife.
Turns out that posts that involve my wife and not just me do much better.
Yes, that is true. Go ahead, Matt. Let the community know, or people that are watching that don't know who Matt is. Who are you and what are you building?
Yeah, I'm Matt Wampler. I'm the CEO and co-founder over at ClearCogs. We use predictive analytics to help restaurants know what to order, who to staff, and what to prep each day. And Justin, thank you for being here. And Shawn, thank you for hosting this and being the crazy guy that sets this stuff up. I will say, I spent my week in Japan thinking the entire time, Shawn will be disappointed if I don't get more content out. You set a high bar. I love it.
Tell us about the trip. I mean, we got what I love about Matt, knowing you from, I don't know when we met. It was probably a couple years ago, but I told you all the things that I told Justin, and we believe in smartphone storytelling. Obviously, this conversation's about going viral, but I don't know if that's the right question. Is, do we need to go viral? Can you share a little bit about your storytelling? Give us the Mertech story, and then weave in Japan for those that don't know.
Well, look, I think I'll start on the Japan side of things.
Yeah, let's do that.
I think that viral is probably the wrong word. I think there are some things that you want to go viral, right, in mass media, but every time you're doing some type of social media engagement, there's usually some reason behind it. Is this educational? Is this a way to support my customers? Am I trying to sell to people right now? They're very different audiences. And so, when we were out there, we did lots of different posts. Some were to humanize me and show behind the curtain. Some were to get our pitch out there and what we're doing. The last one I just did yesterday, which actually I think would be in the category that I'd like to try and get viral, would be something that was more about me and my wife, and 3 takeaways from international travel. That is a message that is applicable to such a wide audience that, maybe viral is the goal.
Amazing. Yeah, no, can you share the Mertech story? Because that was something that, this community was cheering you and Troy on, but something that we can learn from, because I think one of the things I love about Ashwin Kamlani and about you and about so many people in this community is there's so many people around us that go, why are you doing that? Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, do you think you're an influencer? Why are you posting these videos? Yet the traction that you get when you show up at an event, you're broadcasting from the event, sharing behind the scenes, the things that people just think are like, no one cares about that. Yet you go and you see it, and then people know who you are, and they know who ClearCogs is because you're willing to look stupid, act stupid, and just broadcast things that, quite frankly, investors question, employees questions, partners question, family questions, and you're like, well, am I doing the right thing? But yet you keep moving forward.
Yeah. So look, we went to a convention, and one of the things, Shawn, you've said in the past that's always resonated with me is, the best convention is going on every day, and it's going on in social media. An in-person convention is great, but it's a very small audience that you're able to reach. Not everybody can leave their restaurant and go to these things. And so, we came to this, Mertech convention, which is great. I hope we're there again this year. And Troy and I decided to have a competition. It was a friendly competition of who could create the most content. This is all organic. It happened, it wasn't thought out by any means. And we did it to have fun in some ways. And it became something that, we interact with people in person. And that's what they wanted to talk about, not just online. And I remember having, so obviously you start to get desperate for content because you've got to come up with things. I'm recording myself failing, practicing our talk. And my co-founder looked at me, he's like, you can't post that. That's awful. Like this is the worst idea. And he stormed off. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm just going to go ahead and post it. And it went great.
It was one of my favorite videos you've ever done, because it showed something that people don't show. They don't show failure. They don't show the practicing. Like, all we do is we see, oh, wow, you presented in front of 200 people, or you won the award, but you don't realize like how many reps you were doing in the hotel room to get ready for that opportunity.
And to put a nice bow on it, today I had this conversation with my co-founder Osa last month. One of the things we're going to be doing in 2025 is a lot more of that. And he is now fully supportive of it. And, these are not things that are easy to get an ROI on. And we're a data-driven company, but it is still you can just feel it and you can see it in the results. A little harder to quantify, but yes, to put a bow on it, full evolution, it worked, and we're going to continue to do more of it.
Amazing. Matt Wampler. If anybody's watching on LinkedIn, please repost. It's on Cali BBQ Media, but repost. We want to have more voices up here on stage, more stories, bigger community. We appreciate you guys for watching. Thanks for being here. Paul
Also,
Molinari.
real quick, shameless
Yes,
plug.
please.
Let's get my post from yesterday to go
Oh yeah,
viral.
please repost Matt Wampler's his post about Japan traveling with his wife. If you're not following Matt, follow him, connect with him, and connect with everyone else in the community. Paul Molinari, 60 seconds. Who are you? What are you building?
Yeah,
And share your ideas on going viral.
sure. Yeah, I gotta say, first and foremost, Matt, very cool going to Japan. That was actually cool. That was a lot of fun to follow along, and I think that's one of the things that needs to be part of the equation as well. It's fun, but we'll talk about that in a second. So my name is Paul Molinari. I'm the founder and principal consultant at Popcorn. You can find us at popcorngtm.com. Basically, a marketing creative services company for restaurant tech companies in this space. And so viral to me, I think for me, it's all about the unexpected. I think one of the things that that there's a twist, right? For every video that I think that's interesting, aside from having an icy doorstep and a Ring camera, where there's a certain expectation as to what's going to happen, there's this twist that happens in a video. It's kind of like you think you know where it's going to go, and maybe it does in fact go that way, but it does so in a way that is different and memorable. And that's, I think, that's the big challenge I think that we have. It's not just about putting content out there that is, going through the trials and tribulations, and I think that certainly has value. But what makes it interesting? What's that little bit of a twist that we can put inside of the storytelling that just makes it a little bit more compelling? So I don't know. I don't really have all the answers at all, but I do know that it ain't easy, and it feels somewhat random. I'm not sure that anybody's been able to put an actual formula around any of that stuff. But we do know, as many of us are marketers on this call today, we do understand that there are certain aspects of a story that has to have sort of a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yep.
Right. And to do so, but the good ones, the really good ones, have that little unexpected twist in there that I think people get more excited about.
I love it. Great contribution. We appreciate you, Paul. Thank you for always joining the calls. Chris Tripoli. Oh, you're muted.
Yes, sir.
Is it Tripoli?
It is Tripoli.
Tripoli. Ask Matt. I'm really good at butchering last names.
It's not a problem. I
It's
answer
like
to you
on
there.
brand for me.
Listen, I'm Italian. I answer to anything. It's okay. Although I'm constantly reminded by my Greek restaurant friends that that Tripoli is a Greek name meaning Tripolis, 3 cities. And of course, they always like to remind me that I guess every name everywhere is connected to Greek. So being Italian is basically just, I don't know, a suburb of Greece. Hey, thanks so much for doing these. I'm learning a lot. I enjoy being a part of the community. Good to see people again. I'm with restaurantowner.com. I create content for restaurant operators, independent operators on restaurantowner.com, and I host their podcast corner booth. I do some advisory work for small independent operators who are growing and need leadership, mentoring, and ops assistance. We do that through our company called the Restaurant Clinic. So, bringing me today, smartphone storytelling. What I think I would rival you, Justin, as probably being one of the lower rung, technologically astute, successful marketers at this point. I am in awe of how well it works. I love working with restaurant clients that do storytelling well. So the thing I want to point out is how we've had tremendous success storytelling through smartphones to catch people by surprise by actually solving issues. One of the key issues that we solve is attracting good quality employees that might fit an existing culture. We do that by having current employees make videos of having fun working. And it gets crazy because one wants to outdo the other. And so you get these people in the kitchen that are making a video of why they choose to work here, why they like it, why the manager accepted their recipe, or why they like the hours, why you should come join us because we have fun serving the guests or whatever. At first, I thought this was a little amateurish, but you know what? That was a couple of years ago. I'm a big fan, and it works. And the staff enjoy doing it. They like attracting people that might like them because, as we all know, most people today going into our industry are really not looking for a job. They're looking more for a place.
Yep.
They're looking for a place to be. They're looking for people that they fit with. They're looking for appreciation, engagement. So getting them to reach out to attract others works. Before smartphones, it wasn't done. Now we're trying to get everybody to do it.
Appreciate that, Chris. And yeah, from a storytelling standpoint, I'll share a quick story. One of our managers now, one of our rising stars, Caesar, his father was on social media and saw a video that I made with my wife. We went down to the San Diego airport. I got on top of my truck. I made a sign that Cali BBQ is hiring, as if I was like actually, the planes were landing and I was trying to recruit people on the planes to come and work for us. But we made it for social media, and it was, tongue in cheek, like, hey, we're hiring video. But his father saw that video, and his father forwarded the video to Caesar. And now Caesar's one of our most important leadership at our Cali BBQ restaurant. And like, when you go for like, what's the ROI? It's not a matter of that video going viral. It's a matter of the right person at the right time seeing that video. Great stuff, Chris. Thank you. Hildy, who are you? What are you building? 60 seconds. And what are your thoughts on going viral?
Going viral. Well, it's better than getting a virus, right?
That's true.
Let's see. I am Hildy, and I sell swag for a living, and I didn't realize it. I guess it's more than 2 years ago when a friend said, "Why don't you try and go viral? Why don't you try and post videos?" And I just came up with this tagline: "Hi, I'm Hildy. I sell swag for a living." And the entire year of 2023, every single day, I posted a 1-minute educational video every day. Did it make me rich? No. Did it make me famous? No. Did it nourish my NYU film school degree that I hadn't used in years and years and brought me joy? Yes. Did I learn, like, people these days like, oh, shortcut, you can upload to this one site and then it'll go everywhere for you. But if you do that, each one of the, whether it's LinkedIn or Instagram or YouTube, they all want you to upload things differently. So it takes me maybe, let's say, 30 minutes. So wherever I go, I'm recording these 9-second, "Hi, I'm Hildy, I sell swag for a living, and today I'm in Portland, Oregon" kind of videos. And then wherever I am, I try and grab 40 seconds worth of content. And then I've got my little thing that I put on the end and I post them. My number one video so far on TikTok after 3 years of doing this is how to take a hoodie and fold it into the hood so it's easy to store.
Nice.
So if you don't know how to store a hoodie, just go watch it. But you never know. I don't know that it's important. Again, if it brings you joy, if it brings you money, Shawn, for sure, your virality is important for what you do for a living. But I think most of us, we don't make money by going viral, but it is kind of fun. And it's great to have these conversations, all of us together, because we can do a little mental pickleball and see how we can help each other, whether it's making videos to begin with, or what's your tagline, or what's your hashtag. Because if it wasn't for Elizabeth Doss, I wouldn't have had the hashtag Hildy Swag that's on all my clothing now and on every video. That's an Elizabeth Doss thing. So I love all of you. Even though some of you I've had one-on-one calls with and some I haven't, I still feel like you're all part of my fam. And I'm showing gratitude today because I was crying
Appreciate you.
hysterically on Monday. And today I'm joyful and happy. So thanks. Back to you, Shawn.
Thank you, Hildy, for being here. We appreciate it. Richard Liverman, Mike is yours, my friend.
Good
60
evening.
seconds and share your ideas on going viral.
This is a great topic. I'm Richard. I'm based in the UK, as you can probably tell by the accent. I have a business called Richard Solutions, does coaching, mentoring, branding, amongst many other things, including consultancy. And it's interesting because I always say I live by a mantra of don't be boring. And I think there's a really interesting question when you're talking about going viral. So, Shawn, a question for you.
Yes.
How many players are there on an NFL team? How many players are on the pitch and how many people on the sidelines?
There's no one on the pitch on the NFL sideline.
Right, we'll try again. How many players are on the field?
11.
How many are sort of waiting to come on? Special
I believe
teams,
the
whatever.
NFL roster is 63, but I could be incorrect.
Okay. What's really interesting is I think going viral is like playing in the NFL.
Okay.
It's incredibly difficult, but it doesn't mean that it's impossible. And I think there's this little bit where I was working with a client and they work as an influencer in the UK and their brand said, we want you to create a video that goes viral. I mean, him and I were just laughing because it is possible to go and play in the NFL. And I mean, if you're really poor, you'll probably get into the Cleveland Browns team. But reality is there's 5 million people, I checked, there's 5 million people that play American football. Yet you're saying there's 53 people at any one time in the team that can come on and off the pitch. So the reality of going viral is incredibly difficult. I think what's really interesting when you go back to the Clubhouse days and there's certain people on LinkedIn that, oh yeah, we've got the secret sauce. Yeah, you've got the secret sauce called bullshit, snake oil. I think the reality is it is possible to go viral. You have to be exceptional. If you look at Mr. Beast, right? The guy counted to 1 million and that's how he went viral and built up from there. That's because the guy's a genius and he worked hard, right? I really respect that. In the same way that, if you refer to Justin Herbert, the guy's a genius, works really hard. He needs to work really hard off season. We'll skip over that. And I think there's this little bit where people want to go viral and it's kind of this buzzword and it's really interesting. There's lots of marketing people that will go to their agencies or their influencers and say, we want to go viral. I've kind of got a different perspective on it. And I think that perspective is how can you be the best version of yourself? And I think there's that little bit where you don't have to play in the NFL to get enjoyment from the game. And I think there's that little bit where you don't have to be viral to get enjoyment out of your social media and for your audience to appreciate it. And when I talk about my mantra of don't be boring, I think it's a really good kind of thought for social media. How can you not be boring? How can you challenge yourself? And trust me, Elizabeth regularly challenges mine and she's pushed me and she'll have that conversation where how can you talk to one person? Because going viral, I think, is one of those overused terms. Actually, how can you go viral for one person and make a difference to their life that connects you to their brand? And I think there's so much bullshit around the secret sauce. Yes, it's possible to get in the NFL, but isn't it just fun to play tag with your mates in the park? Unless you're a Browns fan and it's just miserable all the time.
Brilliant. Appreciate you, Richard. Thank you. That's going viral for one person, I think, is an audience of one. Trying to figure out, we want to talk to everyone. We want to create perfect content that resonates with so many different people, but ultimately you want one person to send you a DM that leads to potential partnership, potential opportunity.
It's really interesting you talked about that because you and I were chatting the other day about that video and I think we should post it. And there's a really amazing TED talk about how to create a movement. And it's 3.5 minutes long and it is one of the best TED talks. And there's a guy just dancing in a field and he looks like a nutter. And then somebody goes and joins him. And then before you know it, the whole field's dancing with them. And we'll find it. I'll find the link and I'll send it to the team to post out there. And I think there's that little bit where how can you create a movement? And I think that movement, sometimes when we think about going viral, we think about millions and millions of people. Actually, how can you move people? And you can move people by being different, by being challenging, by not being boring.
Couldn't agree more. Amazing. Thank you, Richard. And just a reminder, we have a Slack channel for the Rising Tide community. We have a LinkedIn chat. We have an Instagram chat. We will follow you on any platform, support whatever content you're putting out there. Just let us know. We can add you to those. Tom Spry, welcome to the show today. You unmute yourself and take 60 seconds. Who are you? What are you building? And any thoughts you have on the topic of going viral?
I'm going to get getting viral. You just glad to be here, just here to listen and learn.
There you go. Amazing. Well, thank you, Tom. We appreciate you joining. Let's go over to Ian. Ian, thank you. You're crushing it on LinkedIn. You've been putting up lots of content. It's been awesome to watch. I think your mic might be low. We can't hear you. Yeah, why don't you go out, come back in, and then let's go over Dean LeBay. Dynamo Dean, the selling machine. No unmuting. There it is.
There we go.
What's up, Dean?
How about now? Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Okay. Hey, guys. How's everything going? Dean LeBay, LA, capital B-A-Y. I'm in the hospitality capital of the world, New Orleans. Fantastic weekend. Everything is good. I come to see the gang, see Paul. I tried to get on the computer. I ain't there yet, Shawn. I mean, my technological skills are just not there, but I'll get
Give
there.
yourself some credit, Dean. You post TikTok videos, you post Instagram reels, you're on YouTube, you engage on LinkedIn. Give yourself some credit. You're here on Riverside. We're talking now. Come on.
Hey, Dean, Shawn doesn't know how to use a computer.
I don't know how to use a laptop either. We're all good. The only thing I use a laptop for is producing these shows.
That's why he came up with smartphone storytelling. He couldn't figure out that
more people to use smartphones.
Chris. Hey, Chris, that's exactly right. One of the first things that drew me to Shawn was, I'm mobile first. I'm like, shit, man, I can do that, But anyway, hey, you see the shirt? Our bud.
I do. Spice Video. That's my man Nick.
Yeah. Well, he's getting that back open. So be sure and shoot a picture of this on your repost. As far as going viral, somebody said something earlier. It might have been you, Shawn. Is viral really? Is that really what you want? Because be careful what you ask for, because then you're inundated with. Man, I get pitch slapped on LinkedIn all the time, and I've noticed on YouTube we always get one or two jackos, and that's just part of it. But as far as the group, this is the most supportive group I've ever been a part of, and I'm 64 years old, and I've been in a lot of groups. I've been in a lot of meetings. I've been in a lot of things, and I'm just appreciative to be here. And I think going forward, Shawn has this thing, be the show, not the commercial. I think a lot of the stuff that, as far as marketing goes, it's going to be product placement. It's going to be, yes, it's about the restaurant, but the chef, he cares about a lot of things, but what he cares most about is that piece of equipment, that making sure that fryer doesn't go down, making sure it's cleaned correctly. And that's kind of the route I'm going to try to go with some of my stuff is, can we connect the back of the house guys, the technologists back there? Can we connect that with the restaurant owners and the technological guys on the front of the house from your POS systems? And that's what I'm trying to do right now. So far, so good. No complaints. Living life, living good. New Orleans. Thanks, guys.
You're amazing, Dean. We appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for all the support you do. Ian, you want to give it another try?
All right. How are we doing now?
Wow, look at that.
All right.
It's like night and day. Go for it.
Thanks. Yeah. My name's Ian. I'm with EHS Recruiting Company. We help hire restaurant and hospitality leadership focused on Southern California and coast to coast. I'm a little anomaly because my primary platform is LinkedIn, like you mentioned earlier. So I really am focused mostly on creating content there because I'm really focused on building a network. So I really want to, get connected with people across the industry. So the content that I'm putting out there is really focused on resonating with a select audience. So virality is not really my top concern. It's nice when your post gets a few thousand views and things like that. And I'm lucky enough for that to happen occasionally. But the biggest thing is getting a message across to the people who are my target audience for a certain post. So, I really am focused more on if it's a job ad, crafting it in a way that catches the most attention, whether it's the right picture, right job description, things like that. If it's, trying to do business development and reach out to clients, then, I want to just put what we're about out there, tell our story of what we're about at EHS, and hopefully that catches people's eye. And, if you get messages like you said, Shawn, the receipts, someone just saying, hey, I saw your post, let's talk. That's really what matters the most to me. The days of cold calling, like people still do it, but everyone gets annoyed by those unsolicited emails and unsolicited calls these days. So building a audience and finding ways to take inbound leads is what we like to focus on, and find ways to be a little more creative. And with my background, I actually majored in audio music production, which is ironic with my microphone issue a second ago. But it's a way for me also to flex a little bit of my creativity and kind of play around on LinkedIn. And you can't break anything. Like, you put something out there, and it's kind of funny. One of my colleagues said in a call we had with one of our offices the other day, a post is a fart in the wind. If it doesn't catch on, it doesn't catch on. You're on to the next one. Your post in the morning in the prime time, 8 to 9 a.m. on LinkedIn doesn't go viral or doesn't get the traction you were hoping to, then just move on to the next one. Put something else out there and see what works. And, so I've been just having fun playing around out there. I've met, everyone here through LinkedIn. So it's a testament to what the platform is capable of.
That's awesome.
Hey,
Appreciate it.
If I might just jump in for a second there,
yeah,
Shawn.
absolutely.
With
anyone can jump in at any time. This is
awesome.
This is
I love
a
what
group
you
chat.
just said there about this poop in the wind kind of thing. Like, all right, so if it didn't work out on the first post, didn't work out. Who I'm really curious. Who on this call would take the same post and do it again at another time? So that's something that's a reasonable thing to do, isn't it?
Definitely.
Has anybody ever had success, like with the same exact post, that maybe it went out and for some reason it just went into the ether, and then later on you resurrected this thing and it went out and did well?
I've had lots of experiences where I've posted something that I cared about that didn't do well, and then I reposted it, whether it was the same day or a week later. Or, one of the things that we're really concentrated at Cali BBQ Media is understanding that every single video is a new opportunity for a new audience. So it's the first time that someone's seen my video on YouTube. Is every single time that I make a YouTube video, I'm introducing myself. Why should anyone give how quickly can I get to the hook? How quickly can I get, this is who I am, this is what we're building, and then lay out the idea for the video. But to the point of, I have really cool content with Shaquillle O'Neal, and I apologize to this community, but you'll see that for the rest of my life, as long as I'm here on Earth, and hopefully well into it afterwards. Like, I had Shaquillle O'Neal on the show, and it's going to be Shaq with my son. Shaq was talking about my son. If he practices basketball, he'll be like Luka Doncic. Like, all of that will get repurposed because new people will follow us, new people, and not only new people, but even people that I've posted hundreds of videos with Shaq. Maybe they never even saw that video. Yeah, every time I post that, someone's like, "Oh my God, you interviewed Shaq." I'm like,
the point is, it's like you know what good content is, right? Now, if it goes and it's not all going to go viral, of course, but if you know what good content is, why do you just put one bullet in that chamber? Why don't you? You should give it an opportunity to breathe.
And I think one of the really interesting things on YouTube specifically is, like, our team, we obviously do content for all the platforms, but the YouTube analytics allows you to see a retention graph. And I know you can on Instagram and all the other platforms, but YouTube Shorts, if you do a 45-second video and somebody watches 32 seconds of it, and then there's this peak fall off, clip that video and then just get to 31 seconds, and you'll see how many more people will actually see that video because they're watching the entire thing versus the 45 seconds. So when you get deep into the analytics, you can actually really start to, use these tools that are free and accessible, but you got to have the data, right? Data
here's some free analytic on you and Shaq. I say less talking and more free throw with him and your son.
Thank you. I agree.
That stuff performs better. That behind the scenes, when you get a celebrity or a big name, you got to get them on camera outside of the interview that you plan.
But the height difference between the two, and Shaq, known for everything except making free throws, giving lessons is priceless. You can play that every day. We're rolling in the eye.
And Shawn, I always think we need to move away from the concept that we're broadcast journalists. A lot of us, when we're making content, our main idea is like, put it out, people will watch it right away, then they won't ever see it again.
Yep.
But what we're really doing is trying to make evergreen type content, because we know when you post something, it might be seen that day, yes. But if it performs well that day, people will see it a couple weeks from now on LinkedIn, as an example, or YouTube, as an example. How often are you watching a video that you realize was posted 3 years ago, but it's still relevant to you on a social platform? So we are making content in the same way that Hollywood is making content, where it's being democratized, the concept of content, right? So what you make, if it starts to perform, keep putting it out. They do that with movies. They re-release movies. They redo TV shows. They repeat concepts. If something is a series, make it a series on social. Start thinking bigger than just these posts. They're not updates.
Yeah.
They're pieces of content that you can continually see what works and then revisit it over and over again.
To echo what Stover was saying, I totally agree. When you say smartphone storytelling, it's hard to tell a story in a single post.
Yes.
But the evolution of what's happening, if I'm in Japan, it's what is happening across the trip. I'm tuning in to see, the story, not the post.
Couldn't agree more. Some of the best, like one of the best videos that I've ever done was on Instagram stories, where I'm posting, but I was posting about bringing a barbecue Weber kettle from Eastlake, California, from my house, to see if I could get it through TSA on Turkish Airlines to get it to Bulgaria. So like, I'm telling the story of like, I don't know, this is a 60-pound grill, and I'm going to go and I'm going to try to get it through TSA. I don't know if they're going to charge me, but I'm telling the story of like me loading it into the truck with Steven. And then people are like, did it get through TSA? And then like, okay, it gets through TSA, but like, does it actually land in Turkey? And then does it get on the plane to Sofia? And then when it gets to Sofia, like, how do I get it to the village and then build the Weber in the village? But like, it's the evolution, to your point. It's not one post. It's like, well, I want to see what happens to this grill. Does this grill actually make it to Bulgaria or not? Stover, you want to share your viral video?
Yeah, I've had some. I wasn't trying to be like an influencer or a content creator when I first started. This is like 2007. Before that, I was a journalist, so I was always behind the scenes and writing and not like on. I wasn't even doing video at one point. I was just literally just taking a piece of paper and writing notes and going back to an office and typing those up and sending them off to a bunch of people. Over the years, I had to learn every single thing in the industry in order to like keep working in that industry. But, eventually I had to teach myself what it meant to be on social media and get attention. And so I tested viral stuff when I was doing barbecue in Austin. And the first one I did was the Big Red Challenge, I called it. So every barbecue place in Central Texas loves Big Red soda. It's like something about the sweetness mixed with like the saltiness of the barbecue. Plus they love calories in Texas. And so they just pound it in, right? And so Big Red soda was huge. So I decided that I would, in the middle of the Texas Barbecue Festival, Texas Monthly Barbecue Festival, do the Big Red Challenge, which of course was not really a thing. But I had two famous pit masters who I'd made friends with pour Big Red on my head and had people film it. But I did it in the center of the thing just to sort of like see if I could rally a crowd, and it worked. But I also knew that if I could get that video in front of the right people, they would respond and comment and then share it and like, who's this fool, or that's funny, or that's stupid, or what's going on at the barbecue festival? Why is this guy drenched in Big Red? Why is he interviewing people covered in sticky Big Red? Because I met tons of famous barbecue guys and people and like legends, and I was dripping Big Red from my face. But the video did take off more than anything else, as I knew it would, because literally I made a fool of myself. So success, right? We know making a fool of yourself on the internet will get attention. But I was trying to prove that, and it did work. The other time that I went super viral was much more disgusting and less sweet, where I was I was at a barbecue festival. The first time I met Shawn in person, by the way, the National Barbecue and Grilling Association convention. And I was there. They were roasting a whole pig. And I was talking to my show partner at the time and co-host, and I said, how am I going to get attention? And we're walking around looking at all the meat and making videos. And I see this pig, this dead animal that people were picking at. But its head was intact. No one was going for that part. And yes, I could take pictures of the belly and all that stuff, but it doesn't look good. It's not interesting. And immediately I'm like, I got to go for the eye. I got to do the eye. And so I get the camera lined up. Again, I have to rally a crowd. So I'm yelling, I'm going to eat an eye. I'm going to eat an eye. I'm going to eat an eye. And causing a whole scene, which was before never done at a barbecue conference like this. Nobody, until me and Shawn showed up, started pulling their phones out and causing a scene like we did and all these different. So we're grabbing attention. I'm doing something I know I'm going to hate. I don't want to do this, but I want to see if the video afterwards will take off. As I'm about to, I plucked this eye out of the pig. I'm being filmed. And as I'm about to put it in my mouth, pupil first, a guy yells, "Don't eat the pupil." And I don't know what he means by that. I'm thinking like, is it poison? Don't eat the pupil. And so I start like getting nervous, flip it around, pull it out, eat it, do my video. It was okay. It wasn't that disgusting. But I did play it up a little because I wanted to test the video. And it did take off. By take off, I mean, it sort of took off. Tens of thousands. Was it worth eating a pig eyeball? Probably not. But the test was important because it did grow our account. Tens of thousands of views, yes. But after those videos and the success of having those a couple weeks and getting that attention, our account started to get people's attention from all over the country and the world in ways that we hadn't. And our podcast subsequently started getting thousands of views in episodes. And that was just when it was audio only. Because I did something that got attention, I would not advise you all to go debase yourself. And I'm not doing that shit anymore either. But find something that's entertaining and interesting that's semi-related to what you're putting out otherwise. And go for it. Like lean into that cringe or that novelty factor. It doesn't mean you have to eat a pig eyeball, but let's face it, what's the most popular stuff on YouTube? It's people eating hot and spicy food. It's people getting pranked or doing Mr. Beast type competitions. Like it's that high concept stuff that really makes you go viral. So start thinking how you can go big.
Stover, I think
if you have to eat a ball, go for it.
I think the Brits will have to send you a spotted dick to eat on camera.
No, that's a tasty treat. That's nothing nasty.
And
I learned about that from that King Ralph movie from the 80s.
That story is the epitome of barbecue media.
Barbecue media, those two words had never been put together till that year.
Fantastic.
You can watch that on TikTok. It did get 200,000 views or something on TikTok. The point I wanted to make at the end, the one that got 200,000 views was repurposed a year and a half later when the pandemic started. I needed shit to post. I went back in my archive and took the stuff that had already succeeded. I reposted it, got way more views than it ever did originally. So repost.
There it is.
How is a pig eye not part of your logo, bro?
I know. I'm trying to get a barbecue media company. I'm like, oh no, I'm going to be in barbecue the rest of my life.
Yeah, no, definitely more technology videos than barbecue videos, but that's another topic. Laura Wilbur, part of our Rising Tide community leaders. Thank you for being here. Take 60 seconds. Who's Laura? What is she building? And what are your ideas about today's topic about going viral?
Hi, everybody. Laura Wilbur here. And I believe showing up is 80% of success. And when you do it consistently, like all of you do, you're unstoppable. So it's so great to see you. I have not been as consistent as I like to be with this call. As Elizabeth and Richard and some of you know, my son just had a baby. It'll be 2 weeks ago tomorrow, and it's just been such an incredible joy in our life. Thank you. Tom Spry, so great to see you here. This is so exciting. And for my business, I'm in the business of showing up for my restaurant clients and bringing friends. And by friends, I mean 21 million expense account diners who are looking for great restaurants when they're traveling for business, ordering catering to bring into their corporate clients. We are traveling to the Gov Travels Expo in Virginia next week. And so troops are looking for great restaurants. And so I have a lot of joy around finding these great restaurants and connecting my corporate and government clients to them. And as far as viral video goes, I completely agree, Stover, and with what a lot of you have said as far as, just being brave enough to look silly and foolish. And I think a lot of people are just too self-conscious to do a lot of the things that all of us are willing to do. And I don't know if you remember, Shawn, when I first started joining these calls, I mean, I remember my heart would start beating out of my chest just for the audio calls. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? I'm afraid to talk to this group of people who are so nice and so welcoming and just trying to help me. But I remember thinking, well, my family thought it was completely cringeworthy anytime I did anything on camera. And that really slowed me down. But then all of you said, they're not the ones trying to build your brand. They're not the ones building your business. Don't let them stop you. Don't let anybody stop you from telling your story, because if you don't tell it, nobody else is going to. And thankfully, after 3 decades of working to try and help businesses grow, as many of you know, I started in radio, advertising sales. So much of what's going on with viral video is what we used to do 2 decades, 3 decades ago in radio. I swear, Mr. Beast, every one of his stunts is stuff that we used to do on the radio. And none of it is new. He's just doing it on a new platform. So all of those kind of zany stunts and, prize giveaways and all of that is just what's always worked as far as gaining and retaining attention. And then I'll share a story about one of my videos that did the best was when I was walking in Chicago and I came across a Jollibee, which is one of our corporate clients. And if you're not familiar with Jollibee, it started in the Philippines. It's really big, and they are now in the US, and their logo is a bee, like a bumblebee. Their slogan is chicken love, and they have a dance, which is just a four-step dance that you can do, which is the Jollibee dance. And they have these 4 steps on the wall, usually upstairs at the Jollibee. So I did these 4 steps. I was on the street in Chicago. I see the bee. I looked up the 4 steps on the wall, and I just tried to do it based on the instructions. And I just sort of spun around and shaked my tail feather. And my colleague was recording it. I learned that I was doing it so wrong. It was the absolute worst version of anyone doing the Jollibee dance. But I was having fun, and I was drawing attention to one of my clients. And it ended up that many of their senior executives commented on the post on LinkedIn. I didn't know them.
Amazing.
But just being willing to be silly. And then I'm learning a lot about TikTok from my daughter-in-law, who does makeup tutorials there, and how there's these like feuds that happen on TikTok. And how that can really cause people's audience to grow incredibly. So it seems I'm learning there's this whole culture that I was never aware of on TikTok, and I'm starting to post on TikTok. So that's my story about storytelling.
It's amazing. We appreciate it, Laura. Thank you. Adam, the Wi-Fi guy, 60 seconds. Who are you? What are you building? And tell us your thoughts on going viral.
Is
Wi-Fi
this a viral
problems?
Or did we just make a viral clip?
I don't know. There he is. Can we hear you now?
There we go. Yeah, hello?
Adam
Can you hear
loves
me?
Riverside. I know that.
Oh my god.
This is a man of persistence.
I'll get it working. I'll get it working at one point. I've got CapCut open on my other desktop, so tomorrow I'm going to the Apple Store to buy a Mac because I'm running it all on my PC. And I think it's time. I think it's just time. It really is. It just can't handle everything. So I've just closed CapCut, so now I'm no longer buffering and everything else. So, hi, I'm Adam. I'm the Wi-Fi guy. There you go. My little logo is just there. Oh, my camera's being clever. I help customers with their first-party data. We're building a one-of-a-kind, unique system that helps people with Wi-Fi into loyalty and reservations and that sort of jazz. My most viral, well, my favorite video I've done talking about virality is a really silly video in my car that I recorded on my iPhone, where I did this stupid hook of, are you a restaurant? If you're a restaurant and you need to collect data, you need to watch this video now. And within about 3 hours on TikTok, it got 28,000 views. I mean, that's pretty big for me, to be fair, because, and I was like, my kids are like, Dad, that's amazing. And then obviously it hasn't gone up since. So, it was nice. It was nice. So that was my little moment of, actually, I should really do more hooks on there. I will say LinkedIn is definitely more favorable. We obviously, I have a podcast, Capture Conversations. Thank you. And I stick that into Opus, and I schedule with Opus to go to all the socials. But LinkedIn for me is probably the best. I think the last one I did got something like, I got a lovely email from LinkedIn saying, 8,000 impressions on a video and stuff like that. So I'm very much enjoying putting content on LinkedIn. Not super viral for myself, but telling people stories. So the recent one I did was with a company called Candid Hospitality, which is pretty interesting because they're building a recruitment platform with no bias, which is really clever. So you can list your. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
We're good.
Sorry. It's a really clever platform. It's basically an unbiased recruitment tool where you can list yourself and you become a dish name. So when businesses want to find you, you can list the challenge you have, right, with them. I just want to very quickly talk about it because it's a very clever tool. So everyone's anonymous in their platform. So you can list your CV and everything you've done, and you're anonymous in there. So, and they do matchmaking, very clever. But one of the things he talked about, he was previously with a CRM company, previously with another company. He's from up north, so love listening to his accent. I know, Richard, and he talks about the wall of noise, which is really interesting because he's now doing a sort of a marketing class for people. And the wall of noise for him is anything or everything about the company. It needs to be on social. Whether you have a new client, whether you have a new tool, whether we have a new thing, whatever it might be, it's the wall of noise. And that wall of noise for him, all over LinkedIn, all over Instagram, all over socials, is amazing. I mean, they are super present. Every time a new customer gets signed up, every time a new anything, it's added to the wall of noise. So I'm trying to take his wall of noise to help with the virality stuff, right? But I wish I could do more of it to have time. But I think everyone should adopt the wall of noise, especially Elizabeth, to be fair, because awesome. But the wall of noise is an important. But yeah, that's me for that. There you go.
I love it. Appreciate it, Adam. Mike Seglia, our producer. What's up, Mike?
All right. Hopefully my internet is nice. I've got a story that I think
it's very nice.
Be nice, internet.
Very
Be
nice
to me. I'm sitting next to my Orbi, literally next to it. I have a topic that kind of stems from a beginning to end, and just bear with me because where this story starts will finish very differently, but I promise you it's worth the ending. It's one of my favorite stories to tell. I had a podcast with my wife called Mike Delivers. We rebranded it to Marriage Bites. We try foods and talk about it. We try fast food items and kind of talk about our lives. And I would do Instagram videos where I would try the foods. And we tried from Rita's Italian Ice, a cherry blandini or something like that. And I called it the Dean Blandino by accident, who is the head of officiating, used to be for the NFL. Now is the guy on Fox they go to say, hey, was that the right call? Is that third and whatever? And he liked the post. So he liked the post and it opened a DM section. So I DM'd him and said, hey, would you like to come on my podcast? I'd love to talk to people about food and different items. He said, sure, let's do it. So I booked Dean Blandino to come on the show. Got him on and asked him through the interview, asked him a question. I was very curious, like on Thanksgiving, what do you do when you're like at these games? How do you eat Thanksgiving? And he said, we actually get takeout Whole Foods. And he goes, let me tell you a story. He goes, somebody went to use the microwave, so they had to unplug they had to unplug something from the outlet. And he goes, when we did this to heat up mashed potatoes and stuffing, all of replay was down for 10 minutes for the NFL for Thursday Thanksgiving games. And he goes, nobody knows this. He goes, I'm telling you this. I go, okay. Now that clip, if I didn't, I posted it, didn't really do much, but I said to myself, I need to take the next step. And I emailed all of the sports outlets you can think of, ESPN, CBS, the Pat McAfee show, and it caught fire. And now if you were to Google Mike delivers Dean Blandino or Mike delivers Thanksgiving, there's a story where Dean Blandino talks about how replay was out in the NFL, and they were like hoping nobody goes to replay because they could not do it because somebody had to heat up mashed potatoes and stuffing. Now, I say this story from the very beginning where I did a post about Rita's Italian Ice, and I got a little lucky on how the steps got me there, but also to create that kind of virality, like you need to A, put yourself out there, B, not be afraid to ask kind of tougher questions, and then C, just being like, I have to push this to outlets to get this to work. But to this day was like one of the craziest things that when he said it out loud, I said, oh my God, like he just said something that I don't think anybody knows. And then the next day I got it all on all these websites. So it was pretty cool.
I'm so happy you shared that story. It's something that we actually don't talk about, but part of like our toast story is I didn't just post the unboxing video on LinkedIn. I also tagged people that I thought in toast. So I did a bunch of work ahead of time, but I didn't just rely on LinkedIn to push it to toast. I also let people know that I thought would care from the product team, from the marketing team, from the C-suite, like, hey, we made this unboxing video, which allowed them to see it and then them to share it on Slack and them to go, great story, Mike. Yes, don't just rely on the algorithm to make your video go viral. Find the people that actually care about the story, that are looking for the content to repurpose.
Exactly.
It. Awesome stuff. Let's go ahead and do some tip takeaways, homework assignments. Elizabeth, why don't you kick us off? Too many tabs open?
In my brain, in my life, and honestly, I have like extra windows with extra tabs that are open right now. Working on a pitch that I'm super excited about. Maybe I'll get to tell you about it at some point. But I love this conversation. I think I jumped into the viral part of the conversation there at the beginning. But just again, I'm going to drive home the point that whether it's your thumbnail that you're creating or that first 1 to 2 seconds, if you can give a promise in those areas and then deliver, you're going to give people a reason to click in it. And I will say for myself, I tried this out for myself. I remember I had made a post, and it was about juggling the holidays with content creation and other stuff. So my sister had these giant ornaments that were stuffed like pillows. And so the beginning of my thing was me juggling with these giant ornaments and dropping them and knocking the camera over. Well, because it was attention getting, that mistake, that spilling the thing, that eating the eyeball, that whatever, you're doing something that they're not expecting. It keeps people to stay to the end. So again, that is my tip for you, is to think. And again, you got to feel foolish. I had my choir director in school said, if you don't feel like you look foolish when you're enunciating and trying to sing with everybody, then you are foolish because you're not giving your all. You're trying to hide behind and you're not giving me everything that you have. So if you don't feel foolish in the way that you look, then you're probably, it's going to come across as less than. Anyway, so I'll hand it back to you, Shawn. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Elizabeth. Hildy, tip, takeaway, homework assignment.
So, when, I don't know, let's say you go and you get a dozen donuts and you take a bite and you're like, oh my God, this is my favorite. And you take another one. No, this is my favorite. It'd be really fun is going forward when we see each of us post, we would say, this is my favorite. If we like it, sincerely like it. And then the next time we like something even better, like, never mind, this one's my favorite. And we can all kind of like have fun together, looking at each other's and just making that comment, this is my favorite, because we engage, it's quick, it's simple, and it would be kind of fun to see which flavor we like the best when it comes to each of our social media.
That's awesome. Great stuff, Hildy. Richard Liverman.
Yeah, really enjoyed today. Great conversation. I think what I've been left with is thinking about, other than Stover eating eyeballs, which is going to give me nightmares for the rest of the week, I think there's that thing about keep on practicing making content, keep on putting yourself out there. And I think there was a great marketing agency in London that sent everybody in our team a mobile phone. This is when I worked for a retailer. They sent everybody a mobile phone and then they rang us on it. So we got all these mobile phones. This was like early 2000s. And you talk about going viral, and it was something that Laura said that reminded me of this. It's like, what are those stunts that get people's attention? And actually, they only needed one person to get back in contact and get that meeting, and it's worth the effort. So we talk about going viral. How can we go viral for that one person? And then a couple of takeaways or tips, sorry. I did a podcast with Paul this week that's just gone out, who was on earlier. The more you do them, like, the better you get at it. And that's something that I'm certainly learning. And if anybody gets the opportunity to spend time with Adam, it's an absolute joy. And we got to hang out again last week. And there's a smiley picture of the two of us that I put up on LinkedIn today. It's an absolute joy.
Appreciate you, Richard. Thank you. Adam, tip, takeaway, homework assignment.
If you're not doing the wall of noise, do the wall of noise. I think it's the best term that I've ever heard. And if you have the time, do it, post it, get it on anywhere, anywhere. Just even if it's just a little line that says, "Did this today." I was in the city of London earlier, and I'm actually going to post it when I leave because I walked around. I was about to do hashtag New York vibes because you couldn't see the sky. It's very rare in London, in central London, when you walk around central London and you look up and you can see everywhere. You can see the sky. It's not a big deal.
But I thought you were going to say you would be mugged off your phone.
nearly. I need to get one of those hooks. But there's lots of cyclists around London basically nicking your phone. But so that I'm going to post when I leave today. But for me, my homework is I need to do more of the wall of noise. We're signing up clients all over the place, and I'm not talking about it enough. And I think everyone should be talking about what they do, even if you've had a conversation about anything, about anyone, or you're doing some work with someone or partnering with someone. I think it's super important just to share it, even if it's one line. Did a great day today, spoke to these guys, tag them in, it starts that conversation. One of the pieces I thought was awesome was, which I think one of my colleagues did on the weekend, was like, who leadership wise, who do you look up to? And it sparked a whole thread of things. So any posts that you can do that spark a community like thing would be, I think, is awesome. So wall of noise, that's my homework for everyone and for me.
Yeah. And don't forget to ask questions. I'm telling that to myself, but asking questions on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram.
Build that whole conversation piece, right? It's amazing.
You'll be shocked at how many people want to give you their opinion and actually have really good opinions and good recommendations. Stover, tip, takeaway, homework assignment.
You can go viral if you want to go viral. The question is, why are you going viral? What's the point? Do you need to go viral? And are you willing to do what it takes in certain regards? Or are you happy with going a little less viral and a little more focused and feel a little better about yourself and not have to eat disgusting things on camera? So don't need an eyeball unless you want to.
Laura, tip, takeaway, homework assignment.
A takeaway from previous, not necessarily from today. Well, takeaway from today is maybe I should really learn how to do that Jolly Bee dance and try again. And so that's on my list. But a takeaway, Shawn, from something that you said that your grandfather taught you about, and I think the quote is it stay curious or be curious?
Stay curious.
Stay curious, get involved, ask for help. And so this is an incredible mantra for young people. And my son, as I said, is a new parent. It's not always easy for young people to ask for help. And when you're a new parent, you really do need help. And so I have used that with my kids and also my daughter, who's 24, and myself, and even my husband. So thank you to you for sharing it. Thank you to your grandfather. I feel like there's more to that people everywhere could benefit from. So I would ask even more content on that.
I love it. Great idea. I'll talk to Cam, and we definitely should share deeper stories about where that came from for sure. Thank you, Laura. It means a lot to me, and especially for new parents. Yes, it is hard to ask for help, and I mean the reason why digital hospitality professionals, we're great at taking care of everyone else but ourselves. So like we're just really not good at asking for help, which is why I say it to remind myself, but also hopefully impact others around us. So thank you. Mike Biseglia, tip, takeaway, homework assignment.
Yeah, just something you said earlier as well, Shawn, because I have this thought from radio. It's you never know when it's somebody's first time listening, so don't kind of half it. So when you're putting out a video or a post, this could be somebody's first time seeing it, and obviously we all have better days, and some things will be better than others in content wise. But give your best because you don't know when it's going to be somebody's first time listening, and don't make assumptions that it isn't.
That's awesome. Appreciate it. And thank you everybody for joining. If you are listening to the show, if you're watching the show, we would love for you to be a part of the show. We will send you can go to betheshow.media/rising tides. Just sign up with your email address. Mike will send you instructions of how to join on Riverside, how to be a part of the community. We can add you to the Slack channel, which we have. We have a LinkedIn channel. We have an Instagram channel. Wherever you are in the world, we appreciate you. And Friday, Mike, what's our topic on Friday?
Valentine's Day, hospitality.
Valentine's Day. We land on Valentine's Day. Valentine's hospitality. So bring your stories. Bring anything that you want to talk about relating to marketing, storytelling, technology, and that special day on Valentine's Day.
Shawn, have I ever talked about my theory about how I don't like to give flowers? Is that against hospitality on Valentine's Day?
My wife hates cut flowers. My wife loves live flowers. She loves flowers that are live, that are living. You're muted, Richard. We can't hear your Valentine's wisdom.
So I grew up with a family who sold cut flowers. So hearing you Neanderthals is killing me. There's something beautiful about.
Why are you making beautiful flowers?
They're not dead.
They only last for a day.
They're not dead when they're in water. And the thing about flowers is they should have.
They're not dead. Did you ask the flowers if they're dead?
Do you know what?
They're definitely not alive.
Do you know what?
What?
Do you know what?
Their lifespan is cut short. We can agree on that.
You pulled the plug on the flower once.
Do you know what? This is shocking. So it's okay for Stover to go and eat a pig's eyeball, but killing flowers—that's just murder. I mean,
that's where we draw the line in this community.
Come
on, Richard. Before you give your
tip, the pig was dead before I took its eye out. Richard,
there.
Yes. Before you give your tip takeaway, did I miss the lesson of the word of the day?
Oh yeah,
did you do that yet?
You owe us.
Have we gotten away from that?
I know. Yes.
Well, do you want a word of the day? Because I'm going to have to
try. We really want a word.
We need a word of the day.
I'm going to have to try and find one about cut flowers now because this is just like kind of really offended me. But actually, do you know what? Imagine it's Valentine's Day and your partner gives you a generous gift, or I really hope Mrs. Stover's listening and gives him a bunch of flowers. But if you get an actual gift that you want, you might be really chuffed.
Chuff.
Which is a British word for happy. I'm chuffed to bits.
And that's not chaffed.
No, that's very different, and you don't want that on Valentine's Day. You want to be chuffed.
If you were a potato, I bet you'd be a sweet potato, my Valentine. There you go, Dean, with the poetry. We appreciate it. Thank you all, Mike, Laura, Stover, Elizabeth, Richard, and everyone that joined us today. We appreciate it. We couldn't be here without you guys. We appreciate you. We'll catch you on Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific time. And stay curious, get involved, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, everybody.
And